For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Telling you guys a bit of a review video on a brand new awning from Vango. So this here is the Vango Riviera. The Riviera basically is kind of actually Vango's sort of top of the range awning for caravans, and it's basically designed to be an all-season awning. It almost takes over very much from kind of the Vienna, which we saw for the last couple of years, but with quite a few differences. One, of course, being the colour. You've got this really lovely sort of kind of blue, kind of purple colour as well. So I think it definitely feels more kind of inviting, more homely, rather than kind of the very kind of bleak black and grey. So I think that's a really nice addition. What you also see is actually in terms of its overall width, it's 420 wide and it's 2.5 meters deep. So it's standard depth, but in this really kind of nice sort of traditional kind of frame style. Inflatable, so it's very quick and easy to pitch. I mean, this model we pitched on our own in the best part of sort of about 12 minutes. And then one of the big sort of headline news really for 2021 is the fact that it's a single point inflation. So one of the sort of definitely the kind of criticisms of Vango's in the past is you have to do everything individually. That's no longer the case with this particular awning. You've got a single inflation point that will literally air will go in, distribute itself around itself, and it also sort of self-isolates itself off. So unlike, say, other brands like for a domestic or camper, where you've got to go inside and actually isolate everything, it already does it for you, so you haven't got to worry about it. If you really want to, you can still use it as a sort of point inflation, so each individual beam has also got a separate point where you can inflate it. It doesn't affect the one-way system, and you've got a separate point basically for the one-way, and then separate for the kind of multi-point. And the multi-point can actually be used as a deflation point, so every single beam has its own individual deflation point as well as inflation point. Other things to mention as well as obviously you've got a traditional side with a canopy. Inflatable parts up here gives you a little bit of shelter, so when you want to have the door down as such, you still have a bit of airflow in, you're not having the water coming down, dripping straight in. You've got nice ventilation panels built onto the front of it to help the airflow inside of it, but because it's kind of uses their kind of almost like it's an all-season material, it's actually breathable. So what you find is you get less condensation, and what you find in sort of colder weather, it's a lot warmer, so the weave actually keeps the warmth in. On the flip side, in hotter countries, and when you're taking it across to Europe, or we get a nice warm sunny day in the UK, it's a lot cooler because the weave can expand, allow air to pass through, so it's a more comfortable environment to be in. Not to mention the fact that you've also got colour lock, so it preserves the colour itself, so it looks this sharp for as long as it is. And that's the main thing with all-season awnings. You want to make sure that things don't fade over time and then look a bit dreary. They've done very extensive tests on this material, with the colours, the dyes and everything they've used with it, even with kind of the also the wine red kind of trim around the just to make it a little bit premium. And they've been very clinical on it, making sure that nothing fades 2 times. And it's been a long process to kind of get to where we are with this awning and everything they do with it. Obviously, we've got us in situ with kind of the annex on the side, so a tall annex as well. Also inflatable. You can just remove the side panel, zip it on. It can go on either side. So you have it on left or right, or on both sides if you really wanted to. Comes complete with an inner bedroom as well, and again, all your sort of straps. And it also has a rear door, so you can not necessarily use it for a more sleeping purpose, but you can use it for a living. You put a couple of tables and chairs in there, or just an extra bit of storage section. And we'll come to that as we look in the inside. Other things to mention is the fact you pretty much get all the bits and bobs that normally you pay extra for. So your storm straps, located sort of off on the side and also at the front, are also included. You get your rock pegs, your mallets, your draft skirt, your wheel arch cover, your ceiling system to the van. So a lot of optional extras that you normally pay, say, for like a domestic awning, are included with this. So, you know, in terms when you look at the grand scheme and sort of price up one awning versus the other, it comes at a very keen price point, which is very key when you're looking at spending that sort of money. Of course, you want more information on sort of the pricing stuff, you can check the link below at any point throughout the video. It'll take you straight through to our website. Other nice new features we've got on this model is the fact you've got this CADA bit directly sewn onto either end. This is to allow you to attach a windbreak, one of these sort of modular windbreaks, or the normal Sentinel windbreak, onto the front to make it really create this kind of almost like a sheltered area from here. So you can almost create a little enclosure on the front, perfect for keeping dogs or even kids quite happily in there. Plus it gives you more of an outside area, which is quite nice. One thing I do notice is when sort of the sun comes in and out, it does sort of change colour a little bit. I think, like I said, it's a nice shade with a really nice trim to make it feel very premium, and that's what we're sort of looking at here. It's kind of, like I said, a very quite high-end awning. The door kind of shape as well, you've got kind of this 60-40 door where you can kind of roll back the door a little bit, still have plenty of sort of visibility of the window, and you sort of come in and out of here as you please, as we've kind of done, as you can see here. So you can sort of happily do so. Other things to mention is actually it's one of the only awnings really on the market in sort of air where you've actually got external zip covers. So you've got covers to cover the window. So like I said, being all season, you want to have it all year long. If you're not on site for any reason and you want to protect the kind of heavier grade PVC they've put into this, you can zip the covers on as well to get that sort of ultimate amount of privacy, but also means that essentially that's taking the brunt of it rather than, say, degrading the PVC over time. So these small little things do make a difference, and it's, again, what some brands don't necessarily do. So it's kind of why it's quite nice and new. They've kind of made it more, tried a bit more seamless as well. So for example, you've almost got less pegging points on the bottom just to make it not as complicated, so it sits a bit nicer. And you've also got a PVC kind of mud wall here, as well as a mud skirt. So again, it's all these materials that kind of make it quite nice and long and durable. But I'll tell you what, let's have a look inside the Riviera and talk for a few more features that it has to offer. So now I'm quite inside the Riviera, you can probably appreciate the sheer amount of size you've got in the awning as well, and also in many ways kind of the layout. And the joys of this, it's very versatile. You can really sort of chop and change it and make it as you want it to be. So for example, we're looking at that sort of 250 deep. Now, because of the way the awning's designed, you've got that kind of very flat panel front and a lot of interior height. So for me, being 6'2", I can stand up pretty much dead in the center. It means you can really maximize your internal space of putting things like tables and chairs right and up to the side at the front, and then suddenly you've got this whole sort of extra section located here, which means it's really ideal for, say, when you've got a caravan step, you're not suddenly on top of everything as you come out, so you can kind of go in and out quite happily. Other things as well is the fact that with that sort of interior height quite tall, you know, it makes it feel much more bigger, well, sort of roomy than you are. You're almost maximising all of your sort of floor space because you're going vertically up from all the points. So it does feel quite big, even though it's not necessarily. And because it's that sort of 250 depth, i.e. standard depth, you're not going to worry about sort of going to seasonal pitches and being too big, which is definitely probably the predecessors, one of the sort of drawbacks. It was that a little bit deeper for a lot of people, so it was a bit hit and miss. Obviously, it feels more kind of like caravan-esque, so you've got, not only got lovely diamond clear windows with the thicker material, but you've also got these curtains as well, so it makes it feel kind of more caravan-y, more homely as you would at home. The curtains itself can actually be, they've got on little poppers. So in fact, let's move that way a second. So your little poppers like so, so you can just unpop it, bring them together, zip that directly down, and then you've got sort of proper full coverage. Alternatively, if you want to use it more like a conventional kind of, open up fully to get visibility, basically you've got an extra zip. Okay, like so. You then just simply roll it down into a little pocket at the bottom. And again, you've got these little kind of clippers to put it like so. But for me, I think that kind of more traditional kind of look works really nicely. And the pattern actually, to be fair, is quite nice. That 60-40 door, as I allow, gives you a little bit of entrance to go in and out. So it means you can still have your main sort of furniture, but create this kind of like U-shaped kind of figure. The side panels, as we can see here, have the same kind of sort of 60-40 kind of design. So you've got a section which is located there, so nip in and out. You've still got great sort of visibility with kind of the window panel. There's a curtain still that obviously zips up in there to get that level of privacy as and when you want to, and also the external cupboards for when you want to go away and leave the awning at bay. In this sort of same bit here as well, we've got all the toggle back points aren't toggle backs. They're actually little clips. So again, it's with extra long kind of ties, meaning it much easier to sort of kind of keep it all neat and tidy. And built into the sort of the side door as well, not only have we got kind of a window and curtain, but it also is kind of a secondary mesh door. So you can have sort of airflow down the bottom here. So you can roll the normal door back. And you've also got, at the same time, a window, the curtain bit's built into the mesh. So what you do is allow a little bit of air ventilation come through, but also got the privacy. So if you want to leave the campsite for a little bit, you haven't got to suddenly worry about the sort of rain coming through and losing the vent mesh. So again, you can zip that on like so. One thing I would say is actually the panels on the side can be interchangeable. So where on this side, for example, the door is positioned towards the back, you can change that panel. That panel, so the door suddenly is up here. So it means that when you come out of your sort of caravan as such, you're not all of a sudden having to go, you're not having to sort of shut that door to go out that door. So again, keeps it quite neat and tidy. But it's more of a point that it then gives you the flexibility you wanted to do. This awning actually comes in kind of 2 separate bags. So you get 2 bags to make it more manageable. One bag for the main body without the side panels, and then a second bag for all the bits. It means that both bags are under 30 kilograms, plus it's much more manageable, and it's almost prepped, ready to go to feed it directly into the rail. And that's definitely one of the sort of things they've been very careful about thinking about, and making sure that everything is, like I said, it's more manageable. It's already ready for you to go off the bat. Draft skirt and wheel arch covers included as well, and also you get a storage pocket included with the awning. What you also find is there's little vents located underneath, so if you are on more season pitches, even though it's an all-season product, you need to keep ventilation in here. If moisture's staying in here, you find that mold and mildew is more likely to sort of linger in this area and sit into the fabric. So that's where you still want airflow for an all year round, especially in here as well. Overall, like I said, the ability to remove the front panels and remove the side panels creates that almost kind of gazebo kind of effect. So you're not necessarily just using an awning, because even though it's quick and easy to use, you could just feed it on, pump the shell up, peg that out, and then you've got a bit of shelter away. You've got a roof liner that's basically built into it, so it's pre-stitched along the one side there, and it just simply clips on, so you're not faffing around with anything. The only time you've ever probably take it down in many ways if you wanted just to, I don't know, repair a beam if you came to that point. And to do so, there's little, again, button clips to kind of keep it all at bay. You've got kind of Vango's Skytrack system, which is the ability to kind of have hanging points here. Also, we used it initially for the storage pockets, but you've also got it located down the beams along the top as well. And because you've got a roof line in place, you can pretty much still use it quite versatility. Other things you find is that what we've done here is we've got the little flexi light system, so it's a way of giving internal lighting without having to worry about relying on the caravan light, which isn't always the best. So it gives you the option to do that, and again, the range of storage pockets you can buy, you can then sort of declutter the main body of tent as you get the one already included. In terms of sealing it to the van, what you've got is a draft seal system, so its ability of, it goes into the top, it uses your draft skirt rail there. You've then got an anchorage point. You can then create, obviously it's fixed and fixed here, you can then tension that. These pads can apply different pressure depending where you are. So if suddenly you're going above and below a window, you can turn it like so. So it puts more pressure on that single point. And then you've got a little cover just to kind of keep it all out of sight and just make it look a bit more flush. But I'll tell you what, let's pick up the camera now with a bit more of a feel of the awning as well, and look where the sort of tall annex is. So you can probably appreciate a bit more that kind of panel on the side, and that sort of tint to the roofline of the pattern kind of really matches the curtains we've got kind of in place. You've got sort of no sort of step in and out of all of the doorways, so again no trip hazards and such. And it's also, like I said, a PVC skirting along the whole way. We've got the annex there, which we've actually removed the bedroom for the time being, just to sort of show you how you can use the storage area. The annex does come with an inner bedroom, and you can see that from kind of our website. We've got all the information on there as well. You can kind of get a bit more idea about the kind of the Skytrack system. It's located kind of there, as well as the hanging points already really pre-done. Even small little details, things like the pullers now have kind of Vango branded parts on them, so it's a bit more of a thicker puller, a bit nicer, and a bit easier to kind of grasp and sort of move around. But the colour for me works really nicely. You've got tons of flexibility, and you can really sort of make the awning kind of what you want it to. So as we kind of come out here again, you can appreciate kind of the overall design of it, how nice and taut you get, that really nice foam pad. So I think, yeah, for us it's going to be a real nice sort of winner, something a bit different. And I think actually in terms of a price point as well, it's a lot more competitive than the Vienna ever was. It's looking to be one we're going to have up on our indoor display showroom, so you can always check that out as well. It's always good to hear from you guys and see what kind of the feedback is on certain things. One last thing I will neglect to mention is the fact that the annex itself has its own individual privacy door, so not only do you have to have the curtain, not have the curtain in place, but you can zip that up so things are out of sight, out of mind. And also one mention is the fact that the draft skirt actually velcros to the main body, so you get that sort of entirety kind of seal, and it feels a lot nicer. If you want more questions or queries, of course, feel free to let us know. You can always, like I said, follow the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to our website where we've got the Riviera listed with the pricing and then all the features, pack sizes, pack weights, dimensions, all the other bits of information are there. So anything you've not sort of picked up in the video, it should all be there as well. But by all means, let us know what you think as well. And yeah, that's kind of our little video review on the brand new All Season Riviera 420 for 2021 and then also going forward.